In the previous topic, we have done a lot of hands-on using Azure Blob Storage only. In this video, I'll go a little deeper theoretically in Azure Blob Storage. Let's try to understand what this is exactly. In the previous video, what I had done was that I had created multiple TXT files and used public firewall rules and private endpoints to upload those text objects to storage account container. And those are also blobs. Azure Blob Storage is nothing but an object storage from Microsoft Azure, and it is mainly for unstructured data. And blob storage by default is distributed in nature. When I say distributed in nature, it means that multiple servers are used to store the data in blob storage. It is just like HDFS. Of course, there are a lot of other functionalities and features which are there in Azure Blob Storage, but in essence, this is a distributed storage which is used to store unstructured data, which are also known as object storage. Now, when I say unstructured data, these are typically video files, images. It can be PNGs, JPEG files, JPG files, etc. It can be audio files, PDF files, Word documents, Excel sheets, PowerPoint presentations, log files, whatever you can think of. So all these types of files or data are called binary data, and binary data are known as objects. So that's why as Azure Blob Storage is used to store binary data, it is known as object storage. We can also store backup files. If we take database backups, if we take database tables backup, application backup, etc., we can store them in Azure Blob Storage also, because backup files are also binary data at the end of the day. And we can access the Azure Blob Storage using HTTP or HTTPS endpoints. In the previous video, we had used HTTPS endpoints to upload TXT files from laptop, public VM and private VM to the storage account container. But if you want, we can access the storage account or the blob storage using HTTP and HTTPS endpoints. And there are, of course, client libraries available in .NET, Python, Java, Node.js, etc. Now, to store blob storage, we need to use storage account. So storage account has to be there if you want to use Azure Blob Storage. And inside of storage account, we need to create containers. And the reason we have to create containers, because a storage account is a logical grouping of a lot of other storage services also, like table storage, file share storage, queue storage, etc. So container is used to store the blobs or the binary files. And in essence, containers provide the capability to store blobs in Azure storage account. Blobs are nothing but binary files or binary data. When I say blobs, I mean that it's a binary data. The full form of blob is binary large objects. We can use CLI tool to copy or move data to and from blob storage, which we have seen already. And this is the tool which should be used to move data around or move binary files around to and from Azure Container Storage or blob storage. There are three types of blobs or three types of binary files, if you will. First is the blob, which is used to store text and binary data like CSV files, PDF files, images, videos, etc. That is stored using blob, and it is used for uploading large files and data. So if you are using big data systems or data engineering platforms like Microsoft Fabric, then you'll be using the blob to upload big data files and use them to process the data. The maximum block size can be anywhere from 4 GB to 5 GB. This is the block size. This is not the file size. Now, maximum file size can be 198 terabytes, meaning a single file or a single object can be of size 190 terabytes. But because the files are nothing but binary blocks, a single block size can be of 4 GB or 5 GB depending on the version and the SDK that you're using. Then you have page blobs, which are mostly used to store random access files that are prevalent in the OLTP world. And the page size can be of 512 bytes. You cannot have more than 512 bytes of page. And it is optimized for random read and write operations. So if you're doing multiple updates, insert, deletes, then you can use page blobs. And VM disks or virtual machine disks are backed by page blobs. When you create a disk in the virtual machine, then you are essentially using Azure page blob behind the scenes. And the single file size or the maximum file size can be 8 terabyte. A single file cannot be more than 8 terabytes if you are using page blob. As opposed to that, blob file size can be 198 terabytes. Finally, we have append blob, which is mainly used for append only operations. We cannot modify existing blobs. Updation, deletion, or modification of existing blocks or existing blobs are not supported. And append blobs are an extension of blob because it is also implemented using blocks only. The only difference is that the existing blocks cannot be modified. When I say existing blocks, it is BLOCK, not BLOB. So existing blocks cannot be modified, but you can append records at the end of the blob. And the most important component as far as data engineering and machine learning is concerned, or AI is concerned, is Azure Data Lake Storage. Of course, blob storage is something which is used a lot in document intelligence or GenAI use cases. ADLS or Azure Data Lake Storage is also used in both data engineering and AI/ML use cases. And the implementation of data lake is done by ADLS or Azure Data Lake Storage, which is mainly used for big data analytics or data engineering. When I say data lake, it is used to store raw data for further downstream processing by the data engineering pipeline. If you want to know details about data lake, you can look at my course, Data Engineering Volume 2. Even though that is on AWS, you can correlate what data lake is. You do not have to go to through the AWS components. At least you can go through the Spark component. Anyway, I'll be launching a course soon on Azure Fabric, and then we'll discuss data lake at length. The latest version of data lake that is provided by Azure is ADLS Gen 2, which is used for data lake only. We can also use it for lakehouse, which is complemented by either Iceberg or Delta tables. Now, because Databricks is hosted on Azure, Databricks is an Azure component now. When you use lakehouse on ADLS, Delta lake tables are used or Delta tables are used. Now, ADLS is nothing but Azure Blob storage with additional capabilities for data engineering and big data analytics. Now, the additional capabilities that I'm talking about, which is nothing but the HDFS compatible access. And HDFS commands can be used to do processing on files, meaning we can copy files, move files, delete files, etc. using HDFS commands. The implementation of HDFS on ADLS is known as ABFS, which is Azure Blob File System. Now, this is the driver that is used to implement Azure Data Lake Storage and which is used to communicate with ADLS in HDFS compatible way. We need to enable hierarchical directory structure when we create a storage account. If we do not enable the hierarchical directory structure, then we cannot use ADLS. And it is the only property which is important when we create storage account for data processing. Now, when you use storage account type, it has to be general purpose or premium blob. You have seen this already, that we can mention the storage type. I had selected general purpose V2 storage type. That's why I could use the storage account that I have created as ADLS. If you do not want standard general purpose V2, you can use premium blob storage account type also. So this is all that I wanted to talk about Azure storage. I am not going into too much of details because as far as GenAI, machine learning and data engineering are concerned, this should be enough to work on those different technologies. Of course, whatever is needed for data engineering, I'll talk about that in the data engineering course, and whatever is needed in GenAI or machine learning, I'll talk about those in the respective courses. But for now, this is what I wanted to talk about as far as Azure storage is concerned.